Good afternoon, everyone, and thanks for joining us for today's webinar on IT Management for Business. My name is David Aaron. I'm the Marketing and Communications Manager for the Graduate Apprenticeships team. And before I hand over to today's host, David Steinberg, who's the Edinburgh Business School Director of Graduate Apprentice Programmes, I'll just cover off some quick housekeeping, if that's okay. So the session is being recorded. All the lines are muted automatically. However, you can still ask questions on the Q&A facility, which will be on the right-hand side of your screen, I hope, to ask questions as we go through the presentation. And what we'll do at the end of the presentation is go through all the questions and hopefully answer them. So without further ado, I am going to hand you over to David for the presentation. Thank you.
And good afternoon, everybody. My name is David Steinberg. Just make sure that I have, you can see me. Good. Let me just share my screen again. Yeah. Okay. Let me take you back to 2017, back when I was first asked by the now Deputy Executive Dean at Edinburgh Business School to teach a course that I'd created called Business Skills for the Second Machine Age. I was asked to teach a course to first-year students, campus-based students, and also to a group called Graduate Apprentices. Now, I had no idea what a graduate apprentice was, having come from Boston, Massachusetts, but I was intrigued, and I quickly learned very quickly that they are very, very special people. Students that work full-time, that have families, that have other commitments. And they all tend to have one thing in common. There's something missing, perhaps, on their CV. It's something they've been yearning for quite some time. It's something associated with the first degree that they might have. No matter how successful they are in business, no matter how many people they run in a given team that they have, they're missing something, and that's that degree. And we at Heriot-Watt provide the confidence, and we provide the momentum for them to get that piece filled in their career puzzle. So, and speaking of confidence, if you look at the image I put up here to the left, this is one of my favorite images. It always will be. On the left, this is the original IT Management for Business group back in 2017. And I had 3 seconds to get from the camera to the place that I was in. So I was lucky I didn't knock over 3 people in the process, but it's a very special group of people, and they're entering their 4th year, many of them. And so I'll be wearing my Technicolor robes and watching people graduate that I began to teach so many years ago. You'll notice someone on the far left, be to my right in the screen. Her name is Sapta Das, and something special about her. One of our original IT Management for Business students. She immigrated from the Himalayas to Edinburgh, and I would just want you to think about that for a moment. That kind of move, and she began, the first class very quiet, taking lots of notes, and I can tell you that by the time we were done, she could run for office. She blossomed, and she became an ambassador, not only for Heriot-Watt, but also for Skills Development Scotland. She still is, and so we truly do provide the momentum and the confidence to get through the program. Now, today I'm going to talk about a couple things. First, I'm going to give you a kind of just quick overview of the Edinburgh Business School. We're going to talk about the Graduate Apprenticeship at Edinburgh Business School. I'll give you some of the essentials that you'll need to understand the IT Management for Business program that we offer. I'll talk about what the successful IT Management for Business candidate looks like. Then I'll talk about the what I call the Triadic Partnership. It's the partnership between the tutor, the student, and the employer mentor. And without that, we don't have a successful GA student or program. And then I'll talk about what kind of support the Heriot-Watt GA receives, and then we'll have that Q&A that Dave talked about. So do send questions to him, and then we'll field every one of them at the end. So if we talk about the business school to start with, something you need to be aware of that you might not be. The Edinburgh Business School is now Scotland's largest business school. How'd this happen? Well, a year ago, when the business management department in the School of Social Sciences merged with the long-standing Edinburgh Business School, we became Scotland's largest. And so what we did was we brought 2 elements together. We brought the online programs that are offered by the Edinburgh Business School with the campus-based undergraduate and postgraduate programs offered by the Business Management Department. And I think the key takeaway here is not so much that we're the largest, but it's important for you to know, particularly in this day in particular, is that we have the expertise to migrate traditional brick and mortar courses online as needed during this pandemic. That I can't say that every one of the universities that you may be looking at have in their arsenal. We do, and that is a blessing. So please keep this in mind as you think about Edinburgh Business School. Our mission is to create tomorrow's leaders for tomorrow's markets. We are international, absolutely. All you have to do is walk down the hall and you know it. And the languages, the people from around the world, it's what makes Heriot-Watt great. But there's something else that's important about the Edinburgh Business School, and that's that there are 19 startup companies within a business incubator that is housed on the first floor of the business school, and that is managed. That incubator is managed by a guy by the name of Callum Russell. If you are on Twitter, often you'll see him, or on LinkedIn, you'll see him tweeting or sending LinkedIn posts. He's also the CEO of Acorn Enterprises, based in Dundee, and he offers, as we do, free desk space, training, and a 1-year stint with option to renew in that incubator. And you can see that the companies, now 19 of them, get together and they learn from each other, and it does indeed accelerate and incubate businesses. Businesses such as ERP Squared, Inventapod, which is a workspace product company, a charity called A Place in Childhood, a company called Headspace Design that focuses on dementia, Hindsight Vision, which is a cyclist safety company, and many, many more. Now, if you want a business school that's successful, you got to have an incubator somewhere around, because that it intertwines with the academic delivery and students, and it's a good combination. So, and by the way, there's no equity stake taken by Heriot-Watt in those companies, so it's a nice added value to it. As far as EBS's graduate apprentice programs, we've got 3 of them. I'll be talking about IT management for business shortly. We also have the standard business management program that we offer, and our financial services program as well. The business management program kind of combines both general skills associated with interpersonal and business, and specialized areas of human resource, marketing, accounting, etc. And then the financial services one takes that next level of specialty and offers students financial regulation, financial technology, client engagement, and fintech as well. So we've got a number of that we're offering, and we're also in the process of creating. So if we look at the EBS Graduate Apprenticeship itself, these students, as I said, are very, very special. This is my class, by the way, on the far left. That was a typical cohort, obviously before the pandemic. These students, for those of you who are not quite sure about what a GA is, they work full-time. They come from private, public, and third sector organizations. They come to campus once per week. We call it the release day. And that translates into 4 hours of face-to-face time over a given 4-week period within the semester. So 4 hours of face-to-face time within a 4-week period, and that's one course. So there are 3 semesters across about 42 weeks, and they get breaks at Christmas, Easter, and summer like any of the other students as well. Now, something to do with the ITMB essentials here. We wanted something very, very special. So when we created our IT management for business program, we looked at a number of schools that we could have partnered with within Heriot-Watt, and we've settled, and very smartly so, on the engineering and physical sciences school. Within that, there is our faculty that deliver the GA data science program, and we thought, wait a minute, this is a fabulous opportunity to bring together the best of Edinburgh business with the best of the data sciences GA faculty, and as a result, we've got a very, very special program. And some of the basics: 80% of the learning takes place at work, 20% takes place at the university. For GA students, it's new or existing employees in Scotland. The duration is 4 years, and you have to have a minimum age of 16 years of age, but there's no maximum. We've got people from across different demographics. One thing I wanted you to know is that we worked very hard when we developed the program to align very, very closely with the SDS framework. The percentages you can see there of project management, business, technology, personal and interpersonal skills. Wanted to make sure we had a nice blend of those in the program. But more than that, and this is really important, because we brought the GA data science group in partnership with EBS to develop this program, we can offer this program not only to IT specialists that are looking for the next big step in their career, but also those individuals who are new entrants looking for the career change. So you can have an undergraduate degree in medieval history from St. Andrews and come on in and you get as a GA, and you'll have the kind of support you need to make that transition, just as if you were an IT specialist right now looking for the next big step. And of course, we produce individuals that are going to be focused on IT consultancy, systems operations, systems management, network planning, control, and project management, the classic skills development, skill and portfolio that they require. So let's take just a bit of a look at this structure of this program. And I wanted to just highlight some key pieces, and then I'll put it all together for you. So, you know, in the first year, the first items that are demarcated in red are the IT focused courses. Introduction, most of the first year are introductory courses. And then if I switch to the blue, those are your business focused courses. The skills course, I teach the business skills course. We'll learn everything from advanced questioning skills to design thinking. And the enterprise course will look at how employees work within an enterprise, the dynamics, the structures associated. And then there's the data science courses, and that's the intro to data science and the industrial praxis in semester 3, which is a summer project. The key thing about what we like about having data science is not only that they can teach all the courses that you would call the hardcore standard IT courses, but they can add that value element, and that's teaching students to extract data from their organization to disrupt business models and to find new opportunities within their organization. And that really adds a nice added value to the program. Now, in year 2, you can see there's an all-year course in database management systems on the IT side, fair number of business management courses, some fundamentals, but others more associated with accounting and operations management. And then you can see the data science courses that are offered in semester 1 and 2. You'll see in the far right, there's a management development review. I'll talk about those in a minute. They're very special and they're a bit separate. They're in semester 3. I'll talk about all of those in a given moment. If we go into year 3, we see a lot of the business courses from introductory to research methods to innovation. These are what I call the management courses: innovation management, project management, strategic management, and there's a wonderful business consultancy project that goes throughout the year. That's not just designed for someone to be a business consultant. It teaches Umit Batitsi, the executive, the deputy executive dean of the business school, teaches students how to look at their organization as a consultant would. So it's not just to someone who's trying to set up a consultancy. And then, of course, the applied learning piece associated with data science. And then if we get to year 4, we see the master class in network security on the IT side. We see the business courses, the international business, to give a broad global scope, plus the digital marketing piece. And then we see the capstone project, which I'll talk about in a moment. And I put multicolors around it because the student can decide to do a data science focused or more of a IT or a combination of, with an element of business as well to do this. So if we look at, this is the entire structure. This is your 4 years. And what I want to do is just highlight a couple pieces at this level. First of all, I mentioned those reviews. Now, these are summer, they're not courses per se, but they're designed to bring the student back with the mentor, back with the academic tutor, to look at the individual learning agreement that the student has created. Now, I'm going to go into that a bit of a detail in just a moment about what that is. But what we have is these are mileposts each year that require the student and the mentor and the tutor to get together and to make sure that the goals that the student have set are set for the next year, and we move all the way through the different years doing this. And so we've dedicated time for this, which was really quite good, because it gives people a chance to pause and to assess where they are. If you look at this slide here, this is key, because the students are given an introduction to research methods for active or applied research in year 3, and they begin to think about the topic that they're going to be working on in year 4. So year 4 is really has a fair amount of independent work, but it's all designed. In fact, all the assessments are designed, and I'll go into that in a moment, are designed for work-based application. So this capstone project that they work on will be something that will be work related. It'll be something that they work on associated with the work that they do. So let's talk about what the successful IT management for business candidate looks like. And this is based on my personal work that I do. I'm responsible for choosing the candidates for this program. So I pretty much work on a daily basis, deciding who comes on, who doesn't come on. And the first thing that I have instilled, and I know they do, and I certainly do as well, and when I say that, I mean our business relationship managers, is to make sure that our prospective clients and students know this is a rigorous undertaking, whether it's the financial services, the ITMB, or the straight business management course. It's a rigorous undertaking, especially with the work-related responsibilities that the students have and their outside commitments. Second thing I look for is demonstrated maths and critical writing skills at primarily a Scottish Highers level. That's right about where we find a sweet spot. Somewhere in there is that is where I look for academic ability or equivalent in the paid work. And if I don't see it, I spend some time with prospective client and the business resource manager, and even the student, finding where that is. Because if that's not there, then when they come into the program, we don't want them to be at any kind of disadvantage. I need to see a compelling reason why they want to pursue this degree, and so it's that simple. I pore over the documents that are given to me, the applications, and I want to see a compelling reason, because these seats are competitive, and we want to make sure that the people that are about to take these programs are dedicated to it. I will look for people that understand this is a marathon and not a sprint. It is a solid 4 years. We always see a slight change, a very positive change in the individuals after the 3rd semester. They become much more confident than they might have when they started, and I think that momentum carries into years 2, 3, and 4. But there'll be times where they need to be resilient. They need to understand that they may not get straight top marks, and you know. There's a lot of pressure on these individuals. They have their instructors watching them. They have their employers watching them. They have their spouses or their partners watching them. It's quite something. So a lot of what we do is just to maintain the kind of confidence, maintain the momentum with them, and they need to be resilient. So that's what I look for in a successful candidate. If we move to what I call the Triadic Relationship, this is what I mean by this. Everything we do is built around the independent learning agreement. This is a contract that we, from induction day onwards, becomes the kind of blueprint for where the student is going, and we update it in every year in that summer period. And you can see we look for short, medium, and long-term goals. And there's a couple more pages to this, but this I think is the most important of the pages. And then, excuse me, then what happens is the tutor and the mentor and the student get together and begin to figure out how they're going to attain the goals. So this is what I mean by the Triadic relationship. So the mentor, the tutor, the student, particularly the mentor and the student begin to develop the ideas of where they want to be for the goals, and then I think there's a connection with the Heriot-Watt tutor, and how are we going to then pull in the resources from the courses that are being taught and the work environments that they're in to fill out this form. So let's go into slight more detail. What are the mentor roles? Well, the first piece is that co-development of the annual learning goals with the student. We look for the mentor in the employer environment to provide pastoral care. They need someone to talk to, and and to help them kind of do the blocking and tackling and opening some doors to them within the organization. And you know, there's going to be ups and downs. There's going to be dynamic issues that we tend to work on with our induction day for mentors in particular, where suddenly, for example, employees will have a different look, for example, at the student who may be perceived to be spending a lot of time out of work, and why are they there and why are they not there? And so there's all kinds of pastoral elements, individual sudden changes in people's family life that could affect the work, that it could affect the university. So that pastoral care is really important. Another thing that mentors need to do is defend the release day. Without a doubt, we go 3 semesters, and there's always this need to make sure that the employers understand that that release day is sacred. It needs to be that one time where the student, whether they're attending class or whether they're conducting their own research or reading, whatever it is, they need that one release day. The mentor attends quarterly meetings with the Heriot-Watt tutor and student. I'm glad to see that we're using online systems. I think this is the way to go. I really do believe that the way to go is to have more of these meetings online. I think that they're going to save costs, they're going to help the environment, and you can have more of them than a minimum of once a quarter as a result. And then we're going to go into this in just a little more detail, this idea of mentors matching assignments with work-based projects. Boy, this is one of the key responsibilities of the mentor. What does this mean? Well, let's just talk about it. So what you're seeing in the upper left there at 1 is our GA hub. It's our source of course handbooks, assignments, schedules, timetables, and whatnot. It's the home for the GAs, and we're going to develop this even further for our next academic year. On that hub, and they are directed toward this during their induction week, they'll find handbooks for every single one of the courses that they take. And we absolutely encourage students to download them and to sit down with their mentor, their work mentor, and go through them, because they're works of art. These are the course outlines, they're the assignments, the readings, etc. We provide these handbooks. We also provide a summary of those assignments. Now you've got the ability to plan with your mentor and perhaps even your line manager your entire year. You can tell when something's going to be due. You can tell the nature of it, and then the mentor can help open the doors throughout the semester to the different parts of the organization, so that these projects can be done. So if you're taking a marketing course, open the door to the marketing department. If it's a commercial law assessment, if there's a legal environment, then open the door to that, and so on and so forth. But this is the kind of pre-planning that's there and readily available. And students that do this pre-planning with their mentors are very, very successful at what they do. And so at 4, sit down, have a conversation, work at it over the course of September. Really begin to plan it out so you can smooth out those peaks as it relates to. So you can overlay the work related responsibilities and the projects that are coming in these high pressure environments that many of our students work in, overlay it with the assignments, and then find ways to smooth it out with plenty of time to do it. And then again, this at 5, opening the doors. Opening the doors to the organization is one of the key pieces to helping the GA. Let's do some examples. So in my course, Business Skills for the Second Machine Age, 50% of the mark is a design thinking essay. I teach the Stanford D.School process of design thinking. Students love it. They can instantly apply it. And so what I would expect is that the student will go back to the mentor and say, okay, what's a problem that we have in our organization, or what is part of a problem that we can apply the 5 Stanford stages to, and then they would submit an essay. It's as simple as that matching process. If we're on the data science side, for example, on a data science project, on our Intro to Data Science course, there's a work-based data project worth 80% of the final mark, and that would involve data acquisition, data prep, cleaning, data visualization, analysis, you name it. And it would become a part of a report or presentation that the student delivered to Heba, Dr. Shukri, who's also on our webinar right now. And again, the mentor will be asked to help the student match this particular assessment with something going on at work. And that's what you do. So you've got the pastoral care, you have the matching, and then you have the regular meetings between the tutor and the student and the mentor, and this is what makes GA programs very successful. The tutor role, kind of similar, but has its variations. Help match the ILA's goals to specific course material. So that's where the tutor from Heriot-Watt comes in. We match the student's scholarship needs. I mean, people come in with varying degrees of confidence levels with certain elements of the course, critical writing, math, etc. And if they need just a little bit of tuning up here and there, we can help them do that. We certainly, on the tutor side, provide pastoral care in the university, and that is one-on-one. In fact, I personally believe that what goes on one-on-one with students in general is the most important thing that happens in universities. There is, whether it's one-on-one for a supervisory role with dissertations or whether it's just pastoral care, I think that there are days where students are having a bad day, and we can help them push through and work through it, and it makes a big difference. So pastoral care, and then of course the tutor attends those quarterly meetings with mentor and student. So let me just finish off here by talking just a little bit about the support that the student will receive at Heriot-Watt. So we offer, of course, the lectures and tutorials. Again, that's 4 hours of face-to-face time over 4 weeks for each of the courses that they take. We offer and would require to be given formative and summative assessment. Formative assessment typically takes place midway through the semester, and there'd be an assessment associated with that. And then summative assessments can be, essays, they can be projects, they can even be 1 or 2. We tend not to have many at all, but 1 or 2 quizzes or tests in the class. That formative assessment in particular, really in the first semester of the first year, is a big moment. We often see a lot of shoulders come down, a lot of exhales, and say, I can do it. I can actually get through this program. And again, if there's the need for some sort of scholarship support, we pinpoint and provide what's necessary to tune it up a little bit so that they hit semester 2, semester 3, and then right into the next year rolling. Scholarship support is across the board, from qualitative to quantitative, from our maths gym to our specialists in critical writing that can help. The academic tutor is there to provide truly, in addition to that pastoral care, academic advice, etc. And then in that 4th year, that magical 4th year, the GA students are assigned a supervisor for their project. I supervise postgraduate, undergraduate dissertations, and I'll be supervising some of these along with the entire staff that I have. The capstone projects, they're very exciting. I mean, it's an opportunity for the student to pick a very large project, apply the appropriate methods, and to come away with a sense of real accomplishment at the end of the 4 years, applying elements from the 3 years that they've had, and maybe even the first semester of the 4th year, to that project. Something you may not know about is our staff student liaison committee. Every one of our year cohorts has identifies a liaison who becomes the individual to whom all students come to talk about concerns, questions, issues, and then we have meetings at the end of each semester. My coordinators and staff, the faculty, come together and sit with the liaison, and we go through everything, every single thing. And issues that come to the fore are addressed as fast as we possibly can. And it's a nice way to tap into the cohorts. Of course, we can also get information fed through tutors, and of course, students through their tutors can send information, to the faculty or to me, etc. In other words, there's a number of channels that they have, but the staff student liaison one is the official one, and it goes very well. We do enjoy the meetings. We get to know the students, and they're very professional in how they handle themselves. We have a health and wellness platform that is also part of that GA hub that I talked about earlier. When we talked about downloading the handbook, there's a whole new health and wellness platform that we developed for them that taps into all kinds of internal and external resources for them to, in case they need some help, and they often do, and some, it does happen. And then there's the Student Disabilities Office, and that Student Disabilities Office is critical for those that have special needs, and they are assessed, and then the faculty members who have the different courses with them will take into consideration those special needs when we do marking. So in sum, this ITMB program was co-created by Edinburgh Business School and our data science faculty, best of both worlds, in my opinion. It's designed, this program, for new entrants and for IT specialists. It has the courses from IT, business management, data science. It's not a marathon. It is a marathon. It's not a sprint. And I think I've banged home the importance of the Triadic Relationship and the individual learning agreement. And I think there is ample GA scholarship support, disabilities support, and the health and wellness support as well. So that's my spiel today for our ITMB, and I'd love to take some questions through David Aaron.
Thank you, David. Thanks for that. Like, great overview and insight into the ITMB course, and also just our graduate apprenticeship program in general. So you'll be delighted to hear that we do have some questions for you. So that's great.
Good.
And just for the attendees, I think David mentioned during his presentation there, we are also joined today by Heba Shukri from our data science program, and hopefully Heba will be able to answer any questions that are related to that topic, or indeed any questions that David just chucks over to her. Okay, so we'll get started. So a few have come through. I just wanted to start off with one that came through from John, which is more about a sort of a higher sort of course level question, David. So John has asked, I've been looking into the ITMB course since last year, and the course itself seems to have changed from ITMB to a data analytics for business management course. And then John's question is, in this webinar, the course seems to have slightly different again, and the course has reverted back to ITMB. Is it possible to confirm that this webinar version will be the definitive course that goes ahead this year?
Yeah, so one of the things that we absolutely needed to do when I came on as director of EBS GA programs is to make sure that the program that was currently being run was better aligned with the Skills Development Scotland framework. That had to happen, and it took a little time for us. Universities don't turn around overnight, but we've got it now where we want it to be. And it is not a data science GA program. It is an IT management for business program that has a few of the courses that we would call data science courses as value add. It is the one that you will be and your students will be taking. We worked in consultation with all the other students that we currently have and made sure that they were aware of this. They love the new program and the new structure, and we're very excited about it.
Great, thank you. Hopefully John answers your question. I'll just go through them kind of more or less in order now. So I know you focused in the presentation quite a bit on the different relationships, of which mentor is one of them, David. So there's just a question here from Anonymous. How is it decided who my mentor is within the company?
Yeah, that's a good question. That typically is not our decision. It is something that I think the business relationship manager can talk through with the client liaison that we're speaking with, if you will. But it's something that I think it's something that's designed by the line manager and others. Usually in organizations that have many GAs, that's a bit easier. Those that do not have, they're looking at their first GA student, we can talk them through it, but that's something that has to be decided inside the organization. This is a very special role. So we can talk you through it, but we don't dictate that. That's something that comes from the. So that's why it's important that the responsibilities are clear, and usually there's one or two individuals that suddenly pop into mind that can handle that kind of role.
Okay, that's great. Thank you. There's another question here around about, so I know you covered during the presentation sort of the course structure and the schedule. And so there's a question here, how soon can we get access to these schedules for 2020 entry?
So the broad schedule, the broad academic calendar is already on the website. So that doesn't change very much. If you're talking about the individual timetable, I literally handed the timetable for 2020-21 to our timetabler about a week and a half ago. Heba will confirm that because she and I worked on it for many weeks. It's we call it a Mensa project. It's because we're pulling in about 6 different schools that take courses, the business management courses. So that timetable, that specific timetable of when courses will be taken in which weeks will not be out for another a couple of months. But the general academic calendar hasn't changed much for a number of years, and that one you can find on the website. Yeah,
I think just also on that, if I can just add in, obviously we have the handbook supplements available for the course. So the slides that were on your presentation there, which has got that sort of high level breakdown of the year by year and semester subjects. So those are in the handbooks we have available just now.
That's right.
Okay. Let me just check. So I get this general question here from AF. So is there a dissertation required as part of the course, or is the capstone project the dissertation?
That's right. So the capstone project is a dissertation. It will be work-based, very practical, and it's independent work with a supervisor assigned.
Great stuff. Okay, just some more questions just popped in there, so just
good. I like good questions. Mean people are interested.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so next one up. This question here, a specific one. Can you give an example of mathematical questions or problem solving required, or the aptitude level of maths a candidate will be required to show competency at?
Yes. So I'll let Heba do a little bit more granular level, but for me, again, it's right at the upper edge of National 5 into hires. We really like to see something in that range or equivalent in the workplace. So they don't have it on their CV, they can demonstrate it. Heba, what do you think?
Yeah, so hi, it's nice to talk to you all. Sorry, I can't see you. But yeah, the example for the mathematical question. So normally in the data science or even the IT courses that we will tackle on, you would know basics like differentiation, integration, some maybe like complex numbers. So just to give you a quick example, if we're doing any optimization, for example, then you need to know the basics of the differentiation of finding the optimal variable or something like that. So I think it's just the basic level of the math. So I would say it's grade 6 or 7, I would say. But the example of the math question would be the one that I can think of now would be something related to the optimization, for example.
Yeah, on the business side, business management, I think algebra and comfort levels with working with formulae would be about as important as it could be. Yeah,
that's also applicable to us. Yeah.
There you go.
Great stuff. Thank you. Okay. So again, this question comes down to, I guess, workload. So how do GAs manage the balance between work and their academic study, particularly if the work is really busy?
Yeah, so we have, I'll be honest with you, we've got people that do 5 days of work in 4. We have no control over that. That's why the pastoral care is very important. How do they do it? Well, I'll tell you, the secret is we sit down with the individual students and say, okay, you not only are doing this, but you're also going, not only you're working full time, not only are you pursuing a GA degree, not only are you going for the Great British Bake Off and attempting to summit Mount Everest. In other words, we find a lot of these individuals are high achievers. And what we need to do is sit down and say, over the course of the next 4 years, what can be put aside? Because something is going to have to be put aside in order for you, because you're going to be working a lot at what you do to get this. So that is, I know it's very broad what I just said, but when we have that conversation, it's a very important moment. We try to have that conversation early on in the first semester, because otherwise we start to see people that start to get a little jittery because they're continuing to try to get into the Great British Bake Off tent. They're still trying to summit Mount Everest, and they're trying to get the GA and everything. And so once we have that conversation, things typically settle down. That's how we do it.
If I may add just a quick part to this question, is one of our main objectives is to make sure that the work that the GAs are doing through their academic study is not very different from what they do at work. So they wouldn't use, I would talk about the programming languages, for example. We wouldn't ask them to learn new programming languages that they are not going to use at work. So we always look and ask them, what do you actually do at work? And we change our course and our teaching according to what they have. So we're very flexible to that. We understand, as David said, that they are special students, they have other stuff to do, and we really encourage them to enjoy their life as well.
Of course, very important. Great, thanks. Now I want to hear back to mentors for this question. Would you recommend that our mentor oversees 2 students in the workplace, or would it be better on a one-to-one basis? There's a sort of part B to that, is, which may be a difficult question. Do you have an estimate of weekly time required for mentors to dedicate for this role?
Okay, so to the first question, in large organizations, very large organizations, I don't know what organization the individual is from, and I see a large, you know, some of them are very large on the roster today. It's always good to have an Uber mentor working with the other mentors. That's always good. If you don't have that because your organization is not as big, you know, if the individual that you've identified can handle more than one GA student, and they have that touch, they have that ability to deal with it, and the work they do, great, that works well. If not, then match horses for courses. Match horses for courses, right? The second piece was the time that's dedicated. That is a great question. So and that runs the gamut. We've got organizations that have mentors that meet with their students every 2 weeks over the course of 4 years. I think that's incredibly high touch, all the way to people that don't see them but once every couple of months. I think maybe that's too low touch. So I would say if you're not meeting with your mentor once a month at least for 10 minutes to have a chat about what's going on, just to make sure. I think once a month is the right approach. That's entirely separate from those quarterly discussions that mentor, student, and tutor get together regarding the regarding what they're up to. So yeah, go ahead. Sorry, somebody walked in my room. So I work in my house. So.
Just on that.
Yeah, so I would say at least check in once a month at least.
Great stuff. Just your reference there to homeworking, David. Obviously there's a lot going on at the moment, and we don't need to go through all of that. But that's what the question here is: with all that is going on, will classes be online or delivered at the university, or some combination thereof?
In the other role that I have, I sit as a head of subject, and I've been involved with planning since the 16th of March at 4 p.m. in the afternoon. I remember it vividly when we all had to leave campus, and that's all universities. We all started leaving. Let me rest assured of a couple things. First, we're starting in September. That's the very latest information I got from our senior leadership. And 2, we're going to develop with our resources, courses that are online with the potential to have face-to-face if we can. But we do believe, and I'm sure you know what I'm talking about, that the possibility of a spike occurring either late summer or even into the cold months, we need to be ready to come off campus. So the bottom line is we'll be starting in September until someone says otherwise. That's what released to us about 2 weeks ago, and we are preparing in a massive way to bring our materials online. And, you know, a moment about online. So if you're a great instructor, it really doesn't matter whether you teach online or not. Your personality and your material comes through. And that's the way this is. So I see it as something as simple as that. Not something to fear, but something to see as an opportunity.
Yeah, cool. Okay, thanks. So a question here from Adrian. He says, hi, I have an HND in computer networking.
Yep.
What are my chances to join this course, or are there other IT course options available?
So Heba, I would defer to you, but an HND, HNC is a good start. That's a good possibility, and we look carefully at that. But that's a nice feather in the cap. What do you think, Heba?
Yeah, I think it's so choosing the candidates depend on so many other criteria. So we can't just answer based on the HND in computer networking whether you have high possibility or not. We look at so many other also skills and stuff from the CV that we see. But as David said, it's a good start for the ITMB, and we also have other IT courses like the data science, for example. There is a graduate apprenticeship for data science, which is more, which can also be seen. We have the software development. So these are the IT courses that we have at Heriot-Watt and we offer. But of course, it depends on what you want to do and what work do you already do at your company and how do you want to progress.
Yeah, thanks. Okay, we've got a question here from Derek. Just related to that very topic, actually, how should an employer determine whether the ITMB or data science GA program is the best fit for their business? And also maybe if we can tease out some of the differences between the programs.
Right. So which one? So that gets down to the the outcomes of the program. It comes down to what the individual's career goals are, both short, medium, and long term. And they're actually quite distinct. There's a difference between having a couple of data science courses as icing on a large array of hardcore IT courses, as opposed to focusing on data science. Does the individual want to be extracting data, looking for opportunities, etc., as a career, or be aware of it as they do other things? Heba, what do you think?
Yeah, it's absolutely what you said. They are very much different, and it depends mainly on the employer how he wants to go forward. So if he wants to do machine learning, artificial intelligence, how to handle the big data, then he would go for the data science one. If he wants to do more like management of the business and also have some knowledge about the data science and how to deal with data, then he would go with the ITMB. So it depends on the employer and the company.
Yeah.
What I can say is that that the data science GA faculty is fabulous, and so whichever one you choose, we're good. We're good.
Of course. This is really. Oh, sorry, David. This is more of a question for Heba to fill this next one. So, do we test the students coming into the program with their math skills for data science GA, and at what point, if yes?
Yeah, that's a very good question.
And can we support them if they are not up to the level on entry?
Yes, of course. And of course, the Heriot-Watt always supports their students in the GA, so that's something that no one can say something else about. Yes, we have a diagnostic math test that we recommend in the data science GA. That all the candidates who we agree that they will be our GAs for the next year, they should take this diagnostic math test. And according to the result, we offer, or actually the MAX school, which is the Math and Computer Science School, they offer a crash course at the week -1, which is 1 week before the induction. They offer a crash course just to refresh the memory and give the GAs some basic skills, math skills that they will need through the math courses that they will take with us. Maybe someone would ask, do the ITMB have to do the same thing or not? Actually, I didn't speak with David, but the reason why we didn't suggest that, because again, the two courses are different, the two GA programs are different, and we take into account that the ITMB GAs, they have two roles. They are looking at the management for business role and also the IT role. So we didn't decide that this will be done for the ITMB because we don't think it's related to them.
Right, so that's why we look for a certain level of mathematic competency or comfort level coming in to the ITMB.
Great stuff. Thank you, Heba. So just a couple more to go, which is good. Back to ITMB now, David. So in terms of the IT element of the program, what if your role does not involve programming but does require looking closely at figures, trends, data, etc.?
Right. So the course is not designed just for programming. So yeah, I mean, I'll throw that back to Heba on that because
if you see from the structure that David has already showed us, it's only one of the courses, which is the software development, which includes the programming. And as I said, my colleague Salman, who teaches this course, she takes into account at the beginning all the experience from all the GAs that she has in class, and then she alternates or she builds the course according to their needs and to their skills. So we always take this into consideration. If you're referring to closely looking at figures and trends, so like, for example, doing some analysis using Excel or something like that, then you would also, this is something that most of the data scientist applicants that we have start with, and we build upon that. So we try to enhance their learning and also give them some new skills that they can use through their employers. And referring, if your role doesn't match with that, that's what David meant by opening the door. So when through your company, if there is another team who's working with the data analysis and all this stuff, then you can get into contact with them and do a project with them, so that it also helps your company as a whole. So if you learn something at the university and you go and sit with your colleagues in the company and think that this can be done more efficiently, I have learned that, and you help them to make their company better, then I think this is a win for you, for your company, and also for us as well.
Great. Thanks, Eva. Thanks, David. So at the moment, we have got one question left. So
okay.
Looks good. So I think this is referring to the competitiveness of actually bringing a candidate on board. Okay, so it's what is the level of competitiveness for these IT programs? So could we advertise a role with the intention of getting a candidate onto this course, or would a candidate need to be employed first prior to attempting to apply? And I think the sort of last bit is sort of being a small company, they're curious about the input of going through the process and being unsuccessful in terms of recruiting a relevant candidate, I guess.
Right. So I think the best way to answer that is we've got people that have been working in organizations for quite some time, and we also have people that are brand new GAs that are hired, vetted by the organization, and then they present the skills to us for approval, and then they come on our program. It runs the gamut. I would work very closely with your Heriot-Watt business relationship manager on that, so that you can pull me in if you want as well. But I mean, I think, if you're looking for someone to hire that already has the skills, so you're not surprised if I gather what you said, then you work closely with your business relationship manager on that, and we'll make sure that the candidate is right.
Cool. Okay, great. Just on that, I think for whoever left that question, I think you can either email into the Graduate Apprenticeships mailbox, which is ga@hw.ac.uk, or there is actually a form in the website you can fill in, and that'll come through to the mailbox, but it'll be sort of pre-populated with some of the details in terms of what you're interested in. So I think that's, for me, that's all the questions we have through just now. So just in terms of saying a quick thank you to David, thank you very much for the presentation.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Heather, for your help with answering the questions there. And last but not least, thanks to everybody who attended today, and thanks for your participation, your attendance. For anybody that would like a copy of the slides or indeed a recording of today's webinar, all you need to do is really just drop a note into that mailbox, ga@hw.ac.uk. Sorry, I forgot the mailbox there. So for just ga@hw.ac.uk, and we'll get those through to you. Also, any feedback, we're always keen on feedback, so if you'd like to give any feedback on today's session, that would be great. And we look forward to seeing you on future sessions. We will be posting regularly on Twitter and LinkedIn about future sessions, so keep an eye out for those. And just to close off, thank you again, everybody, for attending today, and we shall see you soon. Thank you.
Thank you.